Hey everybody, Lawrence here at Dirty Bases Terrain, coming at you with another one. A little while ago, I got a 29 Wildspire Miniatures Heroes and Animal set for my birthday. I mean, they're nice, some nice miniatures in there. Somewhat a little comical and goofy, but all overall, for the price, they're very nice miniatures. Well, I finally got around to starting painting them. But for this video, I painted up the main one of it, I guess, the Troll King. Yeah, a little bit of comedy to it with a little goblin there. He's getting ready to toss. And, it's not like the greatest sculpt of all time, but it's a decent, nice sculpt. And I thoroughly enjoyed painting this. It's not going to win any painting awards. I don't do that anymore. This is not a looks good from this close. This is a looks good from that far away. Tabletop quality. But this is just how I paint anymore, because I want to get stuff on the table and get that pile of shame reduced. But before we get to it, I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons. Your guys' help is greatly appreciated, and I cannot thank you enough. Dungeon Matron, Corel, Mia Geek, Sykes, and newest member Rick Spotton. I can't thank you guys enough. Your monthly help is greatly appreciated. All right, let's get to it. Okay, I've already primered this black. I mean, we all know how to do that. So right now, I'm just dry brushing a decent coat of gray over it just to accentuate all the edges and bring out all the textures in this. This is a slap chop method that I'm going to be using to paint this miniature. Of course, it's a couple inches big, so I don't know about miniature, but just giving it a nice dry brush highlight with gray. Now that the gray is dry, I'm coming back and giving a white highlight dry brush, and I'm basically trying to work from the top and go down and not back and forth, up and down, or side to side, just going from the top down. Now here I'm going to be using some Ghillie Doo, which is my go-to, and some Speed Paint Medium. Ghillie Doo is my go-to for greenies like orcs, goblins, and stuff like that. And I'm just going to mix it like a, 50-50 mix between the speed paint and the medium, just to thin it out a bit, because I can always add a second coat if I want to. But right now, anywhere that's getting flesh on the Troll King and the little goblin he's holding, anywhere that's got needs to be green. It's just, like I said, but I like doing the thinned down version, because sometimes it comes out too strong for my taste. And again, like I said, if I think it isn't strong enough, I can always put a second coat on. No big deal. But again, this is just anywhere's flesh, the face, the chest, the feet, the arms. Again, if flesh is showing, it's getting green. And here I'm going with speed paint, satchel brown. It's kind of my go-to for leather or sometimes clothes and whatnot. But I'm going with a minimalist approach on this. Keep the different colors to a minimum. Don't ask me why, but that's just the way I wanted to go with this. So basically his clothes, his pants, his parts of his boots, anywhere that I think would be like a brown yucky looking brown that would work for this goblin. That's what I'm going to paint on because, well, he's wearing clothes, so I got to paint his clothes. But again, just a satchel brown anywhere I think should be brown. And of course now I'm using speed paint noble skin. I wanted like a brown color, like a rich brown color for all the fur. So anywhere like fur, hair, his beard, I'm just going with like one color, brown. And being that I did the whole dry brush highlights, like I did the speed paint will just show natural highlights and with all the shadows and stuff, and it'll go right into all the cracks and crevices, and it'll do a lot of the work for you. And slap chop, like I said, you're never going to win any painting awards using this method, but it's going to look pretty good on the tabletop. Like I said, 3 feet away, not from 3 inches away. But again, all the fur on his head, his beard, all the fur on his torso, on the top of his arms, his legs, on top of his feet. It's getting this color. Now here I'm actually using brazen copper just to give, I know it says copper, but I'm actually using it as a bronze color for different parts of the goblin, like on top of the goblin's helmet, it's the crossguard and hilt of his sword, parts of his boots, and some of his knee pads, just anywhere that a bronze color would look good. And of course, here I'm grabbing the Horde Bronze because it has like an old gold color to it. And that's just what... And I did actually water this down 50-50 with the speed paint and the medium. It gives it a very dull look to it. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for his crown. So I'm just going with it. And eventually I will add a second coat, as you'll see later, but mixing the metallics down like I do, it really dulls it down and gives it a very flat, non-shiny look. And I didn't want this guy to have a bright, shiny crown, so that's what I did. And of course, now I'm grabbing Bony Matter. It's one of my favorite colors from the speed paint line. I use it a lot. But, you know, I want to paint the horns that are sticking up from the top of his head, and the horns that are sticking out of the helmet of the goblin's helmet, and other little small pieces here and there. There are several places where it will work perfectly, and like there's a little piece on his shirt that it'll look good on. Just anywhere that I think would have that like dull, bony look to it. And that's what I'm doing. And of course I'm grabbing, again, speed paint, enchanted steel. It's a good metallic color. Doesn't look too bright, too pretty, or shiny. And that's what I'm going to use for the blade on the goblin's helmet and different parts of his armor. Yeah, it's a good base color for doing weapons. And I like to use it, so that's what I'm doing. Now here I'm grabbing a Reaper Master Series Creamy Ivory. I need to go over certain areas like his teeth, his claws, and his toenails, or whatever you want to call them, because I had painted over them when I did the green. So I just need to bring some whiteness back to them. Not that they would be white, but I just need to give it something that I can do so I can cover it up in the next step. But again, I'm just repainting areas that were covered up with the green. Now all those areas I just hit with the ivory, I'm hitting with some of the leftover bony matter that I still had in my paint tray, and just to bring it down, dirty it up, and make it look nasty, like it belongs on a troll. The crown was looking a little too dull for what I wanted, so the Horde Bronze was still in my paint tray, and I decided to give it a second coat, like I had mentioned earlier, just to bring it up a little more and make it a little more rich. Now, when it dries, it's still not going to be shiny, but it looks good. Now let's get to work on the base. I'm going to go with my standard colors for stone. Like, this is a cobblestone, so I'm just going to go with a dark blue-gray. I love using the dark blue-gray because it just gives it a more natural feel to it as far as I'm concerned. But basically dark, medium, light. The same as any kind of tricolor or paint job. Now, like I normally do, I'm going to be taking random colors and just picking out different stones, and just because this is just what I like to do when I'm painting up rocks and stuff, just different colors. Now, I had screwed up here. I royally screwed up. I went to do the medium, and apparently the colors from before weren't dry, so it kind of smeared all over the place. So, it looks like crud. So, I'm going to try and rescue it here. I'm getting some Nuln Oil, and I'm just washing the whole thing, just to show up all the cracks and, again, crevices and whatnot. Like I said, I screwed up, so I'm fixing my screw up. We all make mistakes, but you can fix them. And as you can see, the no is dried, and it looks, all the cracks are showing up great. And so now I'm going and overbrushing again with the pewter gray. And it's working out just great right now. All the cracks and crevices still show up perfectly.
Again, stepping out of the bounds a little bit of the build. That'll give it a little more stability. And here are my vines. I've got a piece of embroidery floss. And I'm just running that through some watered down glue. Glue is a mixture of 50-50 water and PVA glue.
Now I'm getting my light gray or granite gray from Apple Barrel, and I'm going to do a quick dry brush over all the cobblestones just to make all the edges and highlights pop. Make it look pretty. Now here I'm grabbing green ochre. Yeah, green ochre. It's a light brown. And I just wanted to dry brush all the hair fur areas just to make them pop a little bit more. It was looking a little too dark for my taste, so like I said, this is just a quick step to make it pop a little bit more. Not too hard, just like I said, it's a quick dry brush. Easy, done. Now, I'm using Alien Goo. This is our Reaper Master Series paints. But I extremely watered it down, maybe a little bit more than 50-50 with water. And I'm just using it to do some bare minimum highlights, like on the lips, the muscles. Just to make them pop a little bit more. You may have to go over it several times, basically kind of like glazing almost. And just slowly bring up the highlights. It's not really that hard. Just get to where the furthest edge of the highlight and then just bring it slowly a bit away from where the highlight is going to be. With a little bit of practice, you can pretty well much nail this time easily. It's like I said, it will require some practice. Like I said, go buy some cheap. You know what the thing is, if you want to practice different painting techniques, a good hint is go buy some cheap like those cheap plastic army men. Give them a decent wash, and you can practice any type of technique on them you want. Once you kind of got a handle for it, once you're done with the cheap army men, go to your miniatures. Then you won't feel so nervous about, like, oh no. That's an easy way. I have several bags of army men in one of my drawers to try out different techniques. So. And I like to edge all my bases in straight black. And I'm just using some Apple Barrel jet black around the edges. You can use whatever color you want, but this is just what I prefer to do. I forgot to record this part, but I just put on some moss paste in different areas and then sprinkled some yellow fine flock as a highlight on some of it. And I don't know why I recorded this and not that, but that's what I did. And as a final bit, I'm going to take some of that watered down alien goo and just highlight all the little like warts and bumps on his body. He's got plenty of them, and I kind of want to make them pop a little bit more than what they do with the regular painting. So I'm just quickly dabbing on top of them and making them pop a little bit more so they show up a little bit better. for what's a generally easy, quick paint job, it turned out really good, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy with these Wildspire miniatures. Some of them may be a little bit goofy, but overall, I really like how they are. And I'm looking forward to painting the rest of them. Hey everybody, if you made it this far, it means you watched the end, and as always, I can't thank you enough. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, click subscribe. If you want, I don't release on a regular schedules, so if you want to get notified when I do release, hit the notification button. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And if you guys buy any of these miniatures and paint them up, I would love to see how you guys look. Come to the Discord and post pictures. Post pictures of any of your projects on my Discord. I would love to see it. I really do. But as always, guys, whenever you're making your terrain or painting your miniatures, the only people you got to worry about is you, because it's your terrain and miniatures.